the tibia, femur, as well as your metatarsal bone, then peroneus tertius muscle, and the superficial digital flexor muscle. The patellar locking system itself is different system, okay, which is apart from the reciprocal apparatus. So now what is the main function of the reciprocal apparatus? To coordinate extension and flexion of the stifle joint and the hock joint. Why it is necessary? To reduce the muscular activity when animal is bearing weight and using the stay apparatus. Now same system could have been present in the bovine, in the dog, in the cat as well, but it is not, because these animals can always lie down. They usually lie down most of the time when they are tired, so it is not necessary for them. So what happens here? Active extension and flexion of the stifle is going to cause passive extension and flexion of the hock. And the structures which are responsible for that are the tendinous peroneus tertius muscle and tendinous superficial digital flexor muscle. See, in this specimen we have removed remaining part of the superficial digital flexor as well. That is further continuation of the superficial digital flexor, which would go to the middle phalanx. So we don't even need that as part of the reciprocal apparatus. So what is happening here? I am holding the tibia, and now let's move the stifle joint. Okay. So when I flex the stifle, it flexes the hock.
Sorry. I like it.
So when I flex the stifle, it flexes the hock, and when I extend the stifle, it extends the hock. Now what muscles are functioning while this one is being actively extended or flexed? This is being passively extended or flexed. Let's again try flexion of the stifle and look at the peroneus tertius.
Okay.
Flexion of the stifle, what is happening to the peroneus tertius? It is being pulled upward.
Yeah.
As it is being pulled upward, it is flexing the hock. Now observe the extension of the stifle and observe the superficial digital flexor. This is being pulled upward, pulling the calcanean bone upward, causing extension of the hock joint. So when I cut this one, extension would not be coordinated. In that case, extended stifle with flexed hock. When I cut the peroneus tertius, I have flexed stifle but still extended hock, because one of the major flexors of the hock is down. The cranial tibial at this time may try to flex the hock a little bit, but again that alone is not enough to flex the hock of the horse. Okay, so that is your reciprocal apparatus. Now let's come to the other system, which is patellar locking system. Now here we have the patella with 3 patellar ligaments with medial fibrocartilage. What do you call that? Parapatellar fibrocartilage. With the parapatellar fibrocartilage, patella and 3 patellar ligaments, it forms 2 loops. The smaller one between are formed by the lateral patellar ligament and middle patellar ligament, and the larger loop formed by the middle patellar ligament, patella, parapatellar fibrocartilage, and medial patellar ligament. Okay, now this is normal extension of the stifle. Animal is still bearing weight, but there is no engagement or there is no locking of the patella. But now animal wants to bear more weight on this limb. It will slightly overextend the stifle joint, and the patella is going to be rotated medially by 15 degrees angle and sit over the medial ridge of the trochlea. Okay? As it sits over the medial ridge of the trochlea, and as long as it has been held over the medial ridge, I cannot flex the stifle joint. No matter whatever we do, unless it has been disengaged or it has been freed up from the medial ridge of the trochlea, I cannot flex the stifle joint. Okay, now as the stifle cannot be flexed, the hock cannot be flexed. Okay, so both of them, they are now locked in extension because of the patellar locking system. Now what I need to do, in order to unlock the patella, I will have to free this patella and the medial loop from the medial ridge of the trochlea. So now I need to turn it on the medial side. As soon as I turn it or disengage it, the stifle can now flex. And so what we do, when there is abnormal locking of the patella, we simply break this loop. But breaking this loop would not happen if we cut the intermediate ligament. We break that loop, and to remove that functionality, I have to remove or I have to cut the medial patellar ligament. By cutting the intermediate or medial patellar ligament, I still have the other loop, which is formed by then lateral and medial patellar ligament as well as patella would still be doing the same thing. And so we cannot get rid of that abnormal locking of the patella. Okay, now so what is prerequisite for locking of the patella? The stifle needs to be slightly overextended so that the patella can come over the medial ridge of the trochlea, and then it would be rotated laterally by 15 degrees. It would be rotated medially by 15 degrees. To unlock it, still slight overextension needed. Quickly rotate it laterally. The stifle is now unlocked. Okay, so that is called locking unlocking mechanism of the stifle. And so it is to make sure that the stifle is locked, the hock is also locked in extension. And when both of them are locked now in extension, the hind limb itself would function as one column or one pillar on which the body weight is being rested. As this is fixed on the ground surface, it cannot move forward or backward. Now what we need to do is just need to stabilize the hip joint a little bit by using those bulky muscles around the hip to make sure that it doesn't do this or this. Otherwise, once it is fixed on the ground, it automatically will be fixed by the body weight as well as little activity of the gluteal muscles. Okay, so that is, or these are the two major systems in the hind limb, which makes the stay apparatus of the hind limb more mechanical in